Let's go drink some Powerade. This would be a good clip right here. Make sure the Powerade. Everybody, Powerade in the cup check. Powerade.
Yeah, one of those should have Powerade in it. Usually the one with tape.
All right, here we go. Toast. No. Toast. Toast. Cheers. All right. You're on, buddy. Trey, good.
Welcome to Treys Take. I know I missed last week, but I'm here with the Duke game. Let's talk about some thoughts I have on the game. Coach Fuller's defense was locking up every aspect of the game, besides rushing. Really, Duke couldn't pass it. Really, they couldn't throw any screens. They couldn't throw any deep. But the one thing that they were doing was they were passing. They were rushing it. Anytime they would hand the ball off, they would, the first drive of the game that they got the ball, they handed off to the running back. He went like 60 yards down the field and got the touchdown. And that's a aspect that's affected us in previous games, like Boston College, for example. The quarterback, not the running back, it was a quarterback that was running on us, and the defensive line was just not getting back there, and nobody was tackling him. He got an open field. He even scored a touchdown on us. So that's something we should fix, because if we make it to the college football playoffs, there's going to be even better running backs, and they're going to be handing it off and passing it just as much. So we should get that fixed so we're able to throw, lock up throwing, lock up running, and will be an unstoppable defense. So let's talk about the passing game for Florida State.
Keep going.
I think it's very good now. Like I said in previous videos, I want them to start passing more with Jordan Travis, but they haven't handed off to Trey Benson as much, because this game versus Duke was the worst game he's had all season. So I think they should try to give him the ball more, because they've been handing it off to a Philly I've seen more than Trey Benson. But I think if we could get it maybe just a little bit more even, that would be great, because then we have a great running back and a great quarterback. So if we can put them in on the offense and we could just swap them both, we could have a unstoppable rushing game and an unstoppable passing game too. Passing game was also good. We fixed up on it because now Jordan Travis is passing even more. But the only thing was, this Duke game, it wasn't bad, but at the same time, it wasn't the best, because Jordan Travis had thrown for two touchdowns, but one interception, and that interception was a pick six. Now, maybe he didn't scan the field, maybe he didn't have time to, because the O line, from what I saw during the game, they weren't blocking as much. They weren't blocking that well, because when Florida State ran the screens like they usually do, Duke got back there and they tackled them for a loss. So I think we should fix up on that, because we don't want that to affect us in later games because we want to stay undefeated. Because as we saw, we were losing by a little bit, but we came back up to win the game, and it all went pretty smoothly from there. Jordan Travis passed for another touchdown, and we had a great game after that. 38-20 we won. But at the same time, Jordan Travis didn't have just a good passing game. He had a great rushing game too. He was he would look down because I think one time in the game there was no receivers open, and the O line, the defensive line from Duke was getting back there. He saw an open field, went through there, got past the defensive line, and just slid for the first down. So, from what I think, that 1 year of watching Lamar Jackson play at Louisville definitely had an effect on him. So, and our special team, it's not just our offense, defense that's good. Our special teams also showed a very wide improvement because I don't know his name, but we had a kick return touchdown when we just needed it. It put us in the lead, and it gave us a confidence boost that we needed to win the game. Because what my coach says, if you give a team the slightest percent of confidence, that's all they need to go out, win the game, even if they're losing by 40. We had that one kick return for a touchdown, and Keon Coleman, which he's shown that he can receive the ball and he can go down the field, catch it, and return it for a 90-yard field goal. Kick return touchdown. Because Keon Coleman caught the ball, went downfield. He may have not scored the touchdown, but he got us the yards we needed to make something out of it. Now, let's go back to the defense. This is why we see that Coach Fuller is doing a great job with the defense. It wasn't just the corners. We had a great defensive game and everything. The corners were locking up the receivers, as we saw with that pick. I don't know his name, but it was Shane Brown. So he got the pick while we were up, but it was still a very, very good game. And the defensive line was bringing the pressure each play, as we saw with the pick. Because I saw them get back there, and Fabian Lovett even got there for back there for a sack, if I'm correct. Now I'm going to talk about some of the stats from the game. Jordan Travis had 268 passing yards, and his completion percentage was 75, while he passed for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Trey Benson didn't have a very good game, but I think we're going to improve on that in the future and probably balance out the rushing game with the passing game. But he had 26 yards for 10 carries and 2.6 average per carry. Keon Coleman, not his best game, but I'm sure we're still going to have a dominant passing game no matter what. Keon Coleman went for 2 receptions, 54 yards, and 28 average yards per catch. And this just shows why we have maybe contended for the best defense in the entire collegiate league. Kalen DeLoach had 6 total tackles, 3 solo, and 3 assists. That's another reason why we have the best defense. And here's somebody I think doesn't get enough credit at Florida State. Jaheim Bell. He is probably one of the best tight ends we've ever had. Not the best, but one of the best. I think we don't give him enough credit. he's gonna have a great season, but it just goes to show this game. 8 receptions for 53 yards, an average of 6.6. You may say that's not good, but for a tight end that has to block and catch the ball at the same time, that is a very good game. In Jared Verse, 5 total tackles, 1 solo, 4 assists. I think we should probably get that solo tackle up, but still, defensive line was getting back there and everything. So, if there's any questions, that's all I
So you're asking if anybody has any questions.
And also, I think Mike Norvell definitely proved that he's just maybe the second greatest coach in Seminoles history, because he led us to the first undefeated start ever since 2014, and that was 2013, 2014, because that was when Jameis Winston was still playing for us, and he led us to an undefeated national championship, while we also went to the ACC, and we won it. But that was the first 7-0 start from ever since 2014. So he's definitely making his way up the ranks. Not anywhere near Bobby Bowden yet, but a few more years at Florida State, I'm sure he can pull it off, because not many coaches can say they led a team from that was looking like to be a poverty franchise all the way up to the top once again.
Who would you say the MVP of the last game was?
Versus Duke?
Yeah, versus Duke.
I'd have to go with, I'm going to say Kalen Deloach, because he had the best defensive performance, and he also is a linebacker too. Probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, position on defense, because you're not as big as the defensive lineman, and usually pretty much not everybody, but a lot of people on defense are maybe not stronger than you, but they're sometimes bigger than you, and you're usually not as big as an O lineman, maybe not the running back, but he still goes out there to prove that he can tackle and everything. He can get back there with the defense, because as we saw with this game, the running back was running all over us, but he still managed to put up that stat line. So that is why I think he is the MVP of that game. Now, I think it would have been Jordan Travis if he didn't have that pick six, and it wasn't a good read, and we fix up on that. But Kalen Deloach was definitely the MVP of this game.
What were some things that you would like to see Florida State correct for next week against Wake Forest?
Next week against Wake Forest. So that's the team we lost to last year. So a few things I would like to see correct. So now that we have Jared Verse playing this game this time, and we have a full healthy roster, at least all the starters, that from what I know of. What we need to fix up on is definitely the defense with the rushing game, because if we can let them run, that means you can have an open field, and if it's not a quarterback running, there's probably not much of a chance the running back's gonna slide. He's just gonna try to power through you, and that's not gonna be a good look. So we need to fix up on that and get back there quicker. And I think we should probably. Jordan Travis was very accurate this game, probably some of the most accurate I've ever seen him, especially this season. But we can't have those picks, especially a pick six. That's even worse, as we saw from last year, Boston last year, because last year it was at this like third quarter, maybe second, that they actually started. We started playing, because last year we weren't playing our best football until the second quarter, and by that time they were already up, and that was just a spiral that sent us down the wrong direction into us losing three straight games. So we need to focus in and play our best football for four quarters, and we can't have any. We can have mistakes, obviously, because we're always going to make mistakes, but we can't have too many. And if you make one, you make up for it with the big play or a play that helps us win. But that's what I think we should probably fix up for this game, because Coach Fuller's defense has been playing very good. So there's not much I can say about them besides the rushing game. And the only thing about the offense is really just the passing game, and I think we should probably hand it off a little bit more.
Do you think Johnny Wilson or any of our other injured players will be playing against Wake Forest?
I think so, because he did come in this Duke game, right? Because I think he had like one catch, but I think some of them will be coming in, but I don't really know, because I don't know how bad it is. But since I think he had a catch this game, I'm sure he'll be back healthy and ready to start have a full rest healthy season for the rest of the games up and coming. But I think he's gonna play.
Okay. How do you who right now, because we're a little bit past mid-season. Last week would have been the mid-season point. We're 7-0 right now, so we only have 12 games. Who is your mid-season defensive player of the year? I know you said Kalen was the MVP for this past game, but who would be for all the games?
I think it's probably that cornerback, Jaheim Brown.
Shaheem, bro. Shaheem? Okay.
Because he got that pick, and I think there's gonna be more up and coming. Although that is a stretch prediction, because a few of the past seasons I looked, he only had one pick this season. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's definitely not above average, which we at least want to be. But he has a decent amount of tackles for a cornerback, and if we can keep mixing that in with at least one more pick this season, I'm sure he can come out at the end of the year looking like he's played like that for the past 4 years, 3 years.
Who would be your offensive MVP?
Probably Jordan Travis. Although I did look at the stats, and I calculated it. It said he would be passing under 3,000 yards. I think he's gonna have a good game somewhere in there where he's gonna pass for like a boatload of yards, like the LSU game where he passed for 300. And because he has a great touchdown to interception ratio, and he has a very good completion percentage, and if he keeps throwing accurate like this that we saw from the Duke game, I'm sure he will come out and start showing a lot of improvement, and probably in a race for the Heisman too.
Oh wow. Coach Norvell is nominated, one of 26 coaches that are nominated for Coach of the Year. Do you think he's earned that right this season to be nominated, to be considered one of the best coaches in college football?
So when do they give out the award? At the
end of the season.
Okay. If he can lead FSU to...
This is before the national champion. Well, before the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I know. Wait, so it counts for the ACC?
The ACC championship would count.
Okay, so if he can lead them to a 12-1 record, that he has that in the bag. If he can, because we have a few award winners on our team. I don't know who, but I know we have some, I think. But if he can lead us to an ACC championship, I'm sure he'll bag that Coach of the Year, because we haven't won one in a while. We haven't even made a bowl game in a while, besides last year. So I think if he can lead us to an even better record, I'm sure he has that Coach of the Year sealed.
So Dad will be in town. He's not going to Wake Forest game. You know what time the Wake Forest game is? It's at noon. And you don't have a game this weekend. We can make an announcement. You can say, yes, you want to do it. Do you want to do a live reaction show while we're watching the game?
Yes.
So me and you could be like, just ask the people right now that that's what they want. Maybe you can get some votes. I'll ask on my show tomorrow.
Would you like to see me live react to the Wake Forest game?
And what would you do? What do you think that entails? Like, would you break down the game while it's going on?
Probably. Like for halftime and some like snippets while the game's going on, especially halftime, since we have a 15-minute break there. I can tell you what I think about the game. I can show you what they've been doing and everything.
Okay, you got a couple people. Angelo says they're down for it, so people might be watching you while we're streaming, so Dad can tell you some stuff about what's going on right and what's going on wrong, and then you can have your opinion, and then you can still do Treys take later on, but you would have actually watched the game live and still been able to see it. Tell the people, like, when you're doing your take, tell them about some of the preparation. How do you get prepared to come up with your notes and what you're talking about?
So I always watch. When I had the football season, I never actually watched the entire game. I usually only watch the condensed version and
the condensed version.
Condensed. And that's really it. I would get all my information from there. I wrote it down, and sometimes I would even only watch the highlight clips. But that's how I get prepared. We have a countdown, and yeah, I look at the stats. I break them down into two parts. I put my thoughts and the stats section, so I can know when I'm talking about what my thoughts were on the game and what actually went on in the game. So that's how I get prepared, and that's how I do it.
All right. So, any other things you want to leave the people with?
Well, I'll tell you my prediction for the Wake Forest game.
Okay.
The score is not going to be as close as it was last year. $41-35.
So they're going to score a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So your prediction is 41-35. So people are going to be yelling. We're going to be yelling at Coach Fuller because he gave up a lot. They gave up some points, but we're going to still get the win.
Yes.
A win's a win. So
because now that we have an updated receiving core, we have a few transfers. We have a few transfers from last year that came into this year and are showing that they're still really good. I'm sure we're gonna not blow Wake Forest out, but we're definitely gonna beat them a lot more than we did last year.
all right, so we'll beat them. We haven't beat Wake Forest, I believe, in 3 tries. Wake Forest used to be what Daddy would call a stat game or jersey game. Like, so basically, I never played. I think I played a full game against Wake Forest one time. We would blow them out, and then I would take my shoulder pads off and just wear my jerseys in the second half. We will do a we will do a game. Well, we will break down the game. We will watch the game. We're going to be commentators. We will also get a chance. So I'm gonna put a little microphone on you, so you'll have a microphone. We will also go back and we'll do a halftime show. And then we'll finish it. And if it's a blowout, we probably won't finish the last quarter. We're probably gonna do something else. But we'll get into that. It's gonna be a lot. That's gonna be like 3.5 hours of work. You ready for that?
Yes.
All right. So other than that, good job with Treys tape. We will get you on. We'll get started. Everybody, make sure you tune in tomorrow 9:30 for Big Games BS. We'll be talking about whatever else is going on in the world. And if anybody's interested in going to the Wake Forest game, we could potentially be giving away a pair of tickets to the Wake Forest game. So I just need to know people who are going to go to the game. So on that note, you want to tell them you got your outro or what you want to say?
Well, I will see you next week on Treys Tape. Well, while we beat Wake Forest. Goodbye.